compared to, I guess, where things could have been at this point?
Yeah, 5 days out, I think we're in a really good spot to make this come to life. It has been a really tight timeline when you play late in the postseason and don't get started until late June, early July, and then to have to turn around everything that we needed to turn around, we're in a really good spot for Monday for game week.
Alicia, how much is the senior volume, if anything, during the season?
Yeah, you're going to see a lot of construction all year long. There will be a crane at the front gate and steel beams will continue to go up. The dirt path that's over to our left, right behind third base, that will be built out and be filled in, but fans will see the stadium continue to grow all year.
How will that work? What days will y'all be able to do construction?
Any non-game day until whatever time on game day that we can give the construction crew. So there could be some game days that at noon they're still out here if we're going to open gates at 3 o'clock like we are on Friday, but you know, we'll make it good for the fans. We'll get our teams in here, but we are going to be working pretty much around the clock when baseball is not being played in here.
I imagine the positive thing about all this is you can see what's being developed and the goal to try to make this as competitive as possible across the SEC. Right?
Yeah, I definitely think our fans this year are going to see a lot of progress. Last year, a lot of the work that was done was underground or was in spots that they couldn't really see. I think this year you can see everything that's happening, and you'll see by some of the sight lines when this place is done, it is going to be fantastic, and it's going to be one of the best ballparks in the country.
Do you have a number in terms of potential capacity, or is that going to be a moving target?
Yeah, we for sure will start a little over 6,200. You'll see the concourses are wider than they were last year, so we hope to be able to grow that with some standing room, but we'll for sure be over 6,200.
And I imagine there'll be a sign depicting what took place last year with the national championship out in the outfield.
Yeah, we've got some things planned for Friday, so you'll see some new signage come to life and be debuted before the game.
What's the confidence level that everything will be done by the start of the 2016
Oh, extremely confident. Everything in construction always goes according to plan. It always goes exactly on the timeline. No, you know, we hope everything will be done before 2026. Can't make any guarantees, but we know our team will work as hard as they can to make it come to life.
What's one of the first things that fans might see fully developed?
The seating areas, a lot of new seats are in. Probably the things they're going to notice the most when they walk in is the new sound system. The clarity of sound and I promise it will be a different experience from the sound perspective this year than it has been in years past.
Everybody good?
And of course, the media will be taken care of.
I do think the media is going to be pleasantly surprised with their area. I think that it is much better than it's been in years past. Sight lines are good, so I think you guys will be really pleased with what you have in store.
Are you going to have two versions of lighting this year? It looks like those lights are different from these.
They are all the same light, but yes, they are different age. So the lights that were here, there are two sets that are newer, but they are all the same type of light, if that makes sense.
Well, that also contributes like that game day experience, like the light show and everything.
Not this year, but for next year. All new lights will go in before next year, and we'll be able to do a little more with them. They'll be LED lights, but for this year, they'll be the same lights that we had last year.
So what about the club level premium seating in there? Is that on target for when you guys want to get that rolling?
Yeah, the goal is for that to be open for 2026. There'll be some suites, and then the Rocky Top Club will also change the experience down in the MVP room, and all that's on track for 2026.
What has been the biggest obstacle through this whole process, or the thing that you've had to adapt to the most?
The timeline. You know, again, not starting in here until it was probably the third week of June, and then you got to deal with weather, you've got to deal with all the things that come, or, you know, just curveballs from you dig up the road and what do you find, and then it slows the process down. The timeline's tight because we wanted to keep playing baseball right here on campus, but, you know, we've made it work, and it's been really challenging for our team, but we'll continue to do that.
How much is this whole facility a testament to what Tony and his staff have built, and then also the marriage between the program and the admin?
I mean, I think this was Tony's vision all along. I think when he got here, he thought that, you know, baseball could compete at the highest level. And then what the fan base did to buy in, how excited they got about the program, everything he's done on the field, and then, you know, Danny's vision of what our facilities should be and where we're going. I think between Danny and Tony, this is going to be one of the best ballparks in the country, and you can see the marriage between the administration and our coaching staff.
Any advice for the fans in coming out, you know, whether it's extra time or parking, anything like that?
Yeah, the gate entry is probably going to be the biggest thing where they notice a big difference. So I would recommend, especially early in the season, getting here a little early. There's smaller pathways, there's smaller gates. But when they walk in, they'll see they've got steel beams over their head. There's construction going on. So just be flexible and maybe allow a little extra time, especially early in the year. Once they see it a few times, I think they'll get used to it. Things could change a little bit as the year goes on and construction continues to progress. We might be able to open up more gates. We might be able to create a few more entry and exit points. But to start with, just be flexible with what we got going on over here.
Anything change in terms of like concessions, restroom availability, that kind of stuff?
New restrooms right behind home plate on the main concourse. They have been renovated. Concessions offerings, you're going to see a lot more kiosks. You're going to see a lot more things coming along. Down the right field line, hopefully by the middle of SEC play, we should have a new market go in, and we put a few of those in Neyland Stadium. And you can see that coming to life. It's just not quite done yet.
Yeah, when will those seats become available?
Those seats will be available the first of the year because that's where our students are going. So that's the student section. But the restrooms and the concessions behind them will not be done until probably the middle of the SEC play.
First of year, first of the season, or
The students or the
yeah,
for the students this year
Okay.
in 5 days.